Please like the video and share it so that it reaches many more people and you get sawaba, or rewards from Allah. This could be a sawabe jariyah or continuous reward for you long after you are gone.
Merits of Sunnah, Volume 4, Book 56, number 659 to 841. Volume 4, Book 56, number 659. Narrated by Rabi bin Hirash. Uqba bin Amr said to Hudhaifa, "Won't you relate to us of what you have heard from Allah's Apostle?" He said, "I heard him saying, when Al-Dajjal appears, he will have fire and water along with him. What the people will consider as cold water, will be fire that will burn things. So, if any one of you comes across this, he should fall in the thing which will appear to him as fire, for in reality, it will be fresh cold water." Hudhaifa added, "I also heard him saying, from among the people preceding your generation, there was a man whom the angel of death visited to capture his soul. So his soul was captured, and he was asked if he had done any good deed. He replied, I don't remember any good deed. He was asked to think it over. He said, I do not remember, except that I used to trade with the people in the world and I used to give a respite to the rich and forgive the poor among my debtors. So Allah made him enter paradise." Hudhaifa further said, "I also heard him saying, once there was a man on his deathbed, who, losing every hope of surviving, said to his family, when I die, gather for me a large heap of wood and make a fire, to burn me. When the fire eats my meat and reaches my bones, and when the bones burn, take and crush them into powder and wait for a windy day to throw it, i.e. the powder, over the sea. They did so, but Allah collected his particles and asked him, why did you do so? He replied, for fear of you. So Allah forgave him." Uqba bin Amr said, "I heard him saying that the Israeli used to dig the grave of the dead, to steal their shrouds." Volume 4, Book 56, number 660. Narrated by Aisha and Ibn Abbas. On his deathbed, Allah's Apostle put a sheet over his face, and when he felt hot, he would remove it from his face. When in that state, of putting and removing the sheet, he said, May Allah's curse be on the Jews and the Christians, for they build places of worship at the graves of their prophets. By that, he intended to warn the Muslim from what they, i.e. Jews and Christians, had done. Volume 4, Book 56, number 661. Narrated by Abu Hurairah. The Prophet said, the Israelis used to be ruled and guided by prophets. Whenever a prophet died, another would take over his place. There will be no prophet after me, but there will be caliphs who will increase in number. The people asked, O Allah's Apostle, what do you order us to do? He said, obey the one who will be given the pledge of allegiance first. Fulfill their, i.e. the caliphs, rights, for Allah will ask them about any shortcoming in ruling those Allah has put under the guardianship. Volume 4, Book 56, number 662. Narrated by Abu Sa'id. The Prophet said, you will follow the wrong ways of your predecessors so completely and literally that if they should go into the hole of a mastiga, you too will go there. We said, O Allah's Apostle, do you mean the Jews and the Christians? He replied, whom else? Meaning, of course, the Jews and the Christians. Volume 4, Book 56, number 663. Narrated by Anas. The people mentioned the fire and the bell as means proposed for announcing the time of prayer, and by such a suggestion they referred to the Jews and the Christians. But Bilal was ordered, pronounce the words of the Adhan, i.e. call for the prayer, twice and the Qama once only. Volume 4, Book 56, number 664. Narrated by Aisha. That she used to hate that one should keep his hands on his flanks while praying. She said that the Jew used to do so. Volume 4, Book 56, number 665. Narrated by Ibn Umar. Allah's Apostle said, "Your period, i.e. the Muslims' period, in comparison to the periods of the previous nations, is like the period between the Asr prayer and sunset. And your example in comparison to the Jews and the Christians is like the example of a person who employed some laborers and asked them, 'Who will work for me till midday for 1 chirat each?' The Jews worked for half a day for 1 chirat each. The person asked, 'Who will do the work for me from midday to the time of the Asr prayer, for 1 chirat each?' The Christians worked from midday till the Asr prayer for 1 chirat. Then the person asked, 'Who will do the work for me from the Asr till sunset for 2 chirats each?' The Prophet added, 'It is you, i.e. Muslims, who are doing the work from the Asr till sunset, so you will have a double reward.' The Jews and the Christians got angry and said, 'We have done more work but got less wages.' Allah said, 'Have I been unjust to you as regards your rights?' They said, 'No.' So Allah said, 'Then it is my blessing which I bestow on whomever I like.' Volume 4, Book 56, number 666. Narrated by Ibn Abbas. I heard Umar saying, 'May Allah curse so and so.' Doesn't he know that the Prophet said, 'May Allah curse the Jews for, though they were forbidden to eat fat, they liquefied it and sold it.' Volume 4, Book 56, number 667. Narrated by Abdullah bin Amr. The Prophet said, 'Convey my teachings to the people even if it were a single sentence, and tell others the stories of Bani Israel, which have been taught to you. For it is not sinful to do so. And whoever tells a lie on me intentionally, will surely take his place in the hell fire.' Volume 4, Book 56, number 668. Narrated by Abu Hurairah. Allah's Apostle said, 'The Jews and the Christians do not dye their gray hair. So you shall do the opposite of what they do, i.e. dye your gray hair and beards.' Volume 4, Book 56, number 669. Narrated by Jundub. Allah's Apostle said, 'Amongst the nations before you there was a man who got a wound, and growing impatient with its pain, he took a knife and cut his hand with it, and the blood did not stop till he died. Allah said, My slave hurried to bring death upon himself, so I have forbidden him to enter paradise.